My father was racing back in 2009, and I was a gymnast. So he brought racing drivers to the house, and I was surprised how passionate they were talking about cars and tracks and drivers they've met. So I started to get more involved with these conversations. And at the age of 14, I pushed my dad to take me into a karting. So that's where the passion all began.
Wow, that's amazing. What was that like, your first experience when you were 14?
My first experience was scary. I was really scared. I didn't know the whole concept of braking and turning and the accelerating. But then, like, my father kept pushing me. He was my own coach. So I felt more comfortable with him. And after that, we started our first championship here in the UAE. And we slowly then progressed to joining championships in Europe. And then from that, we moved into Formula 4. So seeing myself climbing up the ladder, looking back throughout the years, you know, persistence and motivation really keeps you going through with the journey. For me, I never really thought of it as a male-dominated sport until I moved into single-seaters, and that's when I realized, oh, it's actually a male-dominated sport. In the very beginning, my father never gave me that idea. He was very, motivating, and he told me, you're as good as the rest of them. He never really compared me to male drivers like, you're good for a girl. You're as good as they are, or you're even better. So that's when I moved into single-seaters, and I realized how women are segregated in single-seaters. So our teammates have the better engineers, the better mechanics. They have more people, focused on them. And the girls are always, second or last option. That's when I realized, oh, it is a male-dominated sport. So throughout my years in single-seaters, I had to really prove and push and, show my team that I do deserve to have the same attention as my teammates. And it took me 2 years to get that, but I finally got it, and I got the respect that I deserved, and now I see them as my family. So it's really, for a girl in a sport or a field that's considered male-dominated, we always have to prove ourselves, we always have to push and put in double the effort, but then eventually we get there. Formula car, basically, it's built for a man, not for a woman. So we women struggle in the physical part, because the car is too big. So it's very hard for us to be able to, use certain parts of our muscles because it's too wide for us. So we tried talking to the FIA to, consider the fact that there are also women who are taking this field. So it shouldn't be just, for a man, that it should also be considered that there are options for women as well. So that was one thing I think nobody knew about single-seaters.
Yeah. Are they making these changes, hopefully?
Yes, they're finally making these changes from steering wheel to cockpit to everything, the seat position. So everything's now being modified for a woman as well. When I first started, I've had my school, my classmates were not very supportive. They would make fun of me. They would tell me, oh, you're just doing it just for attention. You're not even that good. So I really took that to heart, and I kept pushing, and I wanted to prove to them that I was good enough because I really love this, and it's very passionate to me. It's something sentimental to me. And then after proving them, I had family members that I had to prove as well, family members that disapprove of me being in a male-dominated sport. They would tell me, do ballet, do gymnastics, why are you doing this? It's for men, you're not supposed to be doing this. So then I had to try, show them that, no, also girls can do it. Also girls are better even. It's been scientifically proven that women are smoother drivers than men, even on a racetrack. And they're more cautious than a man. So they bring the car in one piece 100% of the time. No offense. For me, I would say, on track, we're in a much safer position than we are down the road. And there are many reasons, like if you go into a crash, there are already people over there ready to help you and to get you the help you need, like immediately. as well as we have the safety gear like the racing suit. Each, like the racing suit, the Nomex, it gives us each like 10 to 15 seconds if we do get on fire to be able to get it off of us. So it's fire protection for 15 seconds. We have the helmet to protect us from certain metals that will hit us in the head, even rubber or anything. So the safety of the car as well, throughout the years, it's improved and getting better and better. So it's basically to a point where it's crash free, basically. But yeah, I would say it's much more safer to be on track than it is to be down the road. Racing down the road, you put other people's lives in danger, you put yourself in danger. Your car is not, made to be crash proof if something happened, and you don't have people there ready to help you the second you crash. So that's the main reason why I stick to doing things on track than down the road. So for us, when you reach single seaters, it gets more expensive. So that's when the budget needs to come in. So it's very difficult to have the budget to train on track and to get the mileage and experience. So we usually use simulator. So we use a simulator. We try to use that, to navigate ourselves, to have a little bit of, knowledge about a certain track. And we train 2 hours a day in a gym. So we focus on our arms and our neck. Since the car is physically very hard to drive, we don't have power steer. So the whole thing, like power steer is basically when you drive your car, it's easy for you to steer because you have a certain mechanism or a device that helps you steer. We don't have that in single seaters. So our arms and hands are basically our power steer. So we need to focus mainly on that when it comes to race weekends. My dad always told me, watch the people that clap for you and the ones who don't. So I was so close with friends who were there for me when I was winning and when I was always at the top of my game. But then when a time came where I was struggling and I was, it was difficult for me to adapt to a new car, to a new championship, a new team, I realized I was very alone. I had everyone just, turn their backs on me. They realized, she's not gonna go anywhere now. This is like her last game, basically. So, and then I started to bring my sister closer to me, and I realized that my only friend was my little sister. So you should always be careful who you call your friend, and keep an eye out for those that clap for you and those that don't. For me, it would be training in the gym. That helps me release a lot of stress. And as well as, watching other races. Sometimes it's nice to look at other things and look at, people. Some people do mistakes on a track. Some people are winning. Some people are losing. And it's good to know and learn from those people as well. So it really helps me feel like I'm not the only one that's feeling this. So he could be feeling this as well. So yeah, those are two things that I do. For me, the proudest moment would be during the F1 Grand Prix. It was the Formula 4 race weekend at the same time in 2019. So I was the first female in history to claim pole position in qualifying and to be able to win the race as well. So I wasn't just the first Arab woman, but also the first female in history. So it was the proudest moment because I got to step onto the F1 podium and have my flag up there.
Amazing.
It was
Yeah.
it was a very emotional moment. I even cried when I saw my mom and I hugged my mom and I told her we did it because it was years and years of traveling, going around the world, training, competing. So that was one of the most amazing moments of my life. Persistence is key. You need to shut out what people say, mute the world and do what you enjoy. Whether it's a sport or a field you're studying, you should never really allow people to get into your head and tell you or even have you doubt yourself. So I would say mute everybody out, keep persisting, keep moving forward. You'll never know where you would reach if you gave up. So persistence is key.